Hello everyone, welcome to Kishwa's Picks Week 11 edition. On time this week on a Tuesday night instead of a Friday, which I actually don't think a lot of people got to see my picks for last week. Quick recap about last week. The Jets blew a very boring game actually. Although I got to see Bryce Petty start, unfortunately the coaches from the Jets didn't want to let this kid play and just held him in shackles the whole time. Did see some splashes in the first half, looked pretty decent, but second half they just folded the playbook for him and just wanted to somehow, lose that game to the Rams. It's unfortunate, but then again, last week I said that at this point wins and losses don't matter for the Jets. Just need to let the kids play. Bryce Petty should continue starting for the rest of the season. Do want to see more from Robbie Anderson, Jalen Marshall, Darren Lee, and all the other rookies that's on this team to see what's gonna happen for next year. There have been rumors that Tony Romo might be a Jet quarterback next year. Certainly, I would love that, but at the same time, I would want to go with a young quarterback simply because the Jets need to find a quarterback. It's been way too long, decades now. Glad they're on bye week. I actually get to enjoy football for one Sunday as opposed to just worrying about how bad they're gonna look. So, with that being said, let's jump into Week 11 picks. And the first game we have is New Orleans Saints at Carolina Panthers Thursday Night Football. First Thursday night game on NBC as they open up their Thursday night schedule. The Panthers cannot believe they blew a 17-0 lead to the Chiefs last week. It was a winnable game for them by all means. Unfortunately, they unfolded in fourth quarter and just let the Chiefs come back. If I'm not mistaken, Chiefs didn't even score an offensive touchdown. It was all from special teams and defense, so that's pretty impressive. New Orleans coming off a devastating loss to the Broncos. The controversial call, I still think it was a fine return by the Broncos, but apparently it was marked out. Well, allegedly he was out of bounds, but I don't think that was the case. Tough one to swallow for New Orleans, but this is a good game. But I'm going to give it to the home team and pick Cam Newton to take care of business again. I'm trusting him at home quite often this season. Unfortunately, this hasn't worked out. New Orleans, away from the Dome, they're just a different team, so can't really give them the edge. Carolina over New Orleans. Moving on to Sunday's games, and the first game we have is Pittsburgh at Cleveland. Can't believe Pittsburgh blew that game last week. Just like the Panthers lost in fourth quarter, Pittsburgh lost that game in the last minute of the game. I mean, how do you blow that game? Granted, Dallas is a new, well-formed machine that's developed into one of the best teams in the league, but still, Big Ben did enough to win that game. It's just that Steelers defense is non-existent, and it showed up again last week. Cleveland 0-16, so yeah, that's gonna happen. Well, at least it's sure headed that way. So let's go with Pittsburgh over Cleveland. Moving on to Baltimore at Dallas. Tony Romo very graciously accepted that he will be the backup for the rest of the season. Dak Prescott has been on another level, and it's amazing to see Dallas just continuing to prove everyone wrong. And of course, they're the Yankees of football, so half the country is against them. But they just continue to pile on against each team every week. 8-1 now. They probably will have a first round bye in the playoffs. Baltimore coming off a decent win against the Browns, but then I'm not sure how healthy they are. Joe Flacco looked all right. Steve Smith is back from injuries, so that should help him. I'm going to give it to Dallas to take care of business at home. Moving on to Jacksonville at Detroit. Hard to believe Detroit is at number 1 position in NFC North. Vikings 5-0 fell off. Packers are going south each week. Detroit can simply capitalize. And that goes to show you that Stafford is a very good quarterback. Losing Megatron did not faze him one bit. He actually looks better, believe it or not, without him. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now. Taking on the Jaguars after coming off a bye week. Easy game for Detroit. They will win this game, and we'll have a short week moving on to Thanksgiving next week. Next game we have Tennessee Titans and Indianapolis Colts. Colts coming off a bye week at home should be able to handle Tennessee Titans. Marcus Mariota. The Jets had an opportunity to take him 2 years ago had they not beaten the Titans that year. But of course, Rex Ryan wanted to look like a hero and had to win that game, and hence why we still don't have a quarterback, and we're going to be searching for it God knows how long. Anyways, the Titans look very good. Point. And DeMarco Murray continues. He's the second leading rusher in the league right now. This should be a shootout, but I'll give it to Andrew Luck at the end to pull it out. Moving on to Buffalo at Cincinnati. Cincinnati, 3-5-1, still has a shot to win the North. However, they aren't looking like a complete team. Last night they lost by 1. AJ Green, sometimes he just disappears some games, and that needs to stop. The Red Rifle Dalton needs to have better games going forward. Playing against Buffalo, who's coming off a bye and a horrible loss from the week before at Seattle, they should be able to have a better game against the Bengals, and it's going to be a very close game, but I'm going to pick the Bengals to win at home. Moving on to Tampa Bay at Kansas City. Tampa Bay coming off an impressive win against the Bears. Going to Arrowhead Stadium, not the best place to go. Kansas City usually goes undefeated, if not 7-1 each season at Arrowhead, and that's going to reflect the Sunday as well. They're going to easily take care of Tampa Bay. Moving on to Chicago Bears and New York Giants. The Giants defense, $200 million well spent. That was an amazing defensive performance last night. Fourth quarter, Janoris Jenkins had AJ Green on lock. Olivier Vernon, Damon Snacks Harrison, Musi from the Jets, man. They had a great game in fourth quarter, stifled that potent Bengals offense. Eli Manning and the offense needs to get their growth together. They are so on and off. Odell Beckham can easily break a game any time he wants to, so they need to capitalize that against the Bears and have a huge victory against them. Moving on to Arizona Cardinals at Minnesota Vikings. 4 straight losses for the Vikings. It's not looking good. However, they did cut Blair Walsh today, which is long overdue. This guy wasn't even making extra points. It was time for him to go. I would have cut him personally right after the loss against Seattle last year out of the wild card game. However, they kept him around, cost them extra points, probably cost them wins as well. Will that help them to beat the Cardinals at home? Probably. I'm going to take the Minnesota Vikings to finally break off from their slump and take care of business and beat the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals had so much promise going into the season, just does not look like a good team. Palmer just getting up there in eciage, so just not going to happen this year for them. Minnesota breaks off from the slump. Moving on to 4 o'clock games, Miami Dolphins at LA Rams. Jared Goff will finally be starting, and we finally get to see the #1 pick from last year. Actually, yeah, from this year. We'll finally get to start a game. Expecting good things from him. He should be able to have 90,000 plus crowd in that Coliseum to back him up. The defense will always take care of business on their end. The Dolphins, they've been pretty good. 4 straight wins, 5-4, making a push in AFC East, as much as it hurts for me to say it, because I'm a Jet fan and don't want to see much success out of Dolphins. They've actually been pretty decent this year. Well, they've turned it around. Will that continue? Probably not. I'm picking the Rams to win, and I'm counting on that defense. Moving on to New England Patriots at San Francisco 49ers. The best team in the league. Well, at least, if not best, second best team in the league against the worst team in the league. There's no need to go in details. New England big. And Philadelphia at Seattle should be a very good game. Philadelphia, you never know what you're going to get out of them. They're so unpredictable. At Seattle's coming off a great win from Sunday night. The offense finally looks like they can cause havoc in playoffs. So I'm going to pick the Seattle defense to carry a pretty bad assault against Carson Wentz and the Eagles offense, and picking Seattle to win at home. Sunday Night Football, we have the Green Bay Packers at Washington Redskins. Believe it or not, this will be actually a very entertaining game, high scoring. Both offenses are pretty good. Packers need to snap out of their slump. I don't know what is the problem. it can't be all on Rodgers. Clearly has a pretty weak roster around him. The Redskins, they beat the Vikings last week as predicted. Kirk Cousins is having a pretty good year himself. I'm not sure if Deshaun Jackson will be back. I'm going to take Green Bay on the road simply because they have the better quarterback in this game, and they need to break off from that slump. Moving on to Monday Night Football, we have the Houston Texans at Oakland Raiders. It's not an Oakland home game. This game will be in Estadio Azteca in Mexico City. The first game in Mexico since 2005. Because my season, but the Jets season has ended so early, I'm going to closely follow the Oakland Raiders and Derek Carr to see if they can make a run at the Lombardi Trophy this year. Yes, I'm going that far. I know I had previously stated they're a year away from being a legit contender, but 7-2, you gotta have hope for this team. Derek Carr is an amazing young quarterback, probably the best young quarterback in this league right now, pushing Andrew Luck in that category. The Texans, Brock Osweiler, 89 yards passing. I know they won last week and I picked them to lose, but they didn't. But lock of the week, Oakland Raiders over Houston Texans in Monday night. Didn't pick an upset, so let's look through quickly what will be an upset in this week. I believe Miami's favored over LA, so let's go with Rams over Dolphins as upset. The bye week for the teams that are on bye week this week are Atlanta Falcons, Denver Broncos, San Diego Chargers, and as previously stated, the New York Jets. Again, like, subscribe, comment if you like these picks or not, and I'll see you guys next Tuesday with Week 12 and Thanksgiving picks. Thank you.